Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For me, that's the Wurrung clan.
And for me, it's the Wurundjeri peoples. So welcome to our Thursday episode. Today we have a very exciting guest on. Who have we got today?
We have the wonderful, first ever Indigenous queer Bachelorette, Brooke Blurton. Welcome, Brooke.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Applause.
Yeah.
For you. Welcome. It's lovely to finally meet you. I've not met you before. And you're just stunningly beautiful.
I mean,
So-
shit.
Oh, shit.
And we're starting.
Swearing's always necessary.
She's hot, but she swears like a sailor. I like it.
She does.
I like it.
Aw, thank you. Well, huge fans, obviously. Love you guys.
Well, we're so stoked. And you're obviously part of the Nova fam now, so
Yeah.
welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. You can't
And
get rid of me now.
No,
So.
we're practically related. We're related in more ways
Yeah.
than one because we're also Bachelorette
We are.
sisters.
Pretty much. Pretty
So
much. We
we've-
have so much to unpack with that.
We have so much to unpack. I don't even know where to begin. I'm actually getting like a little bit like anxiety just thinking about it, but in a good way.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that the three big things that I know about you two that you have in common is that you're both bachelorettes.
Yes.
You're both queer.
Yes.
And what was the other one that we just said?
They're both Nova fam.
Nova fam.
Nova fam, yeah.
Oh, don't forget the Nova fam. Sorry about that, producers. I see you all. You're looking.
I was
at-
going to say we're both feminist,
Yeah.
badass bitches.
Yeah. Well, there's so many-
That
four.
too. That
There's
too.
so many.
There we go. The list
But-
is truly endless.
But Brooke was our very first queer bachelorette.
Yes.
And Angie didn't even really was given that opportunity. So how did it feel for you when you saw Brooke be like, was it a proud moment for you or was it something that you kind of went, oh.
You're like, hey, I'm fucking queer.
Yeah.
Why
did they?
what? It was actually a bit of a mixed emotion because it was like I was so stoked that you were able to do that, especially being our first Indigenous and queer bachelorette. I was like, thank God we're holding space for this.
Yeah.
But then I was also like, I wish I was as strong as you were at your age, because I'm a bit older than you, that I knew I could say, oh, listen, when the casting happens, when they said, what do you like? I was like, anyone, meaning I only thought I could pick men. So I was like, any type of dude. I don't care if you're tall, short, chubby, thin, as long as you make me laugh and you love what you do, stoked. Let's do this. But I never
You didn't know you were
thought-
allowed to say he can have a vagina
Yeah.
as well.
I did not know. And also I hadn't really spoke about that much myself. I
Yeah.
always knew I was queer. Like I always knew, but I never really started to express it only until after the Bachelorette where I was like, well, now I definitely know that I definitely want to explore this more. But obviously watching you, that was just a game changer.
I appreciate that. And it sucks because I'm not the first queer bachelorette. You were the first queer bachelorette.
Just the
Maybe
first
even
one to be
Sophie
out.
Monk was the first queer.
Yeah,
We don't know.
Exactly.
No, I loved your season, Angie. To be honest, look, would have applied myself. We could have been here a long time ago.
I've never even thought of that. If you had both, you could. Oh,
I would have been done. Sign me up. No, I feel like, to be honest, when I was watching, I was like, these are a bunch of fucking average men compared to Ange. Like, sorry,
that's
I
so
love, I
nice.
love some of them, but I was like, yeah, like, and I think my season, I had some awesome, beautiful women and men, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I just wish they casted more. I think, yeah. I don't know if that's your same feelings. It's just like you just got like I don't know, like a pool of general people. I don't know.
They were
That's a little stab at them.
general.
I love them, guys.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's interesting though, because it's okay to say that, but I feel like it's maybe not casting's fault. Maybe there's not that many people that audition for these types of shows.
They're too shy.
That are too shy, or the older ones have already found partners, or they just wouldn't do it. Because for a while afterwards, I was like, oh, wow, I got stitched up. Hey, like that. But in the moment, I thought I was so lucky. It's like
Same.
Stockholm syndrome.
Same. I was like, oh my God, I have the best group of people,
Yeah.
which I did. Like majority, I speak to most of them now, like as friends. But that's what I kind of said to myself. I was like, these people I'd be friends with. Like,
Yeah. But in it, did you feel like
Yeah, there was some. Obviously, I had some strong
Yeah.
connection and feelings there. But yeah, who knows what could have happened if I signed up for Angie's. No, I'm getting everybody back to that.
Imagine if it had just been those average dudes and you.
Oh my God.
I know what would have happened.
And the whole time we just had to pretend we're just like, I'll pass you. Yeah, right, I'll pass you.
My theory is that a lot of good men don't apply for the Bachelor and a lot of good women do. I just think that that's just across the board, not just for Bachelor, a lot of reality TV. There's pretty great women, you know, applying for things, and men are just a little bit for clout, you know, so there's there's only a handful of guys who are really on it for the right reasons. And also I think by the time Angie's season came out, Sophie Monk had done hers, she was well known, and that there was a lot of men who were really aware of social media, getting that blue tick. This was the real first, oh my God, I can make a name for myself from this.
100%.
And I reckon you could see it.
You could see it.
Yeah. Now they've scrapped it?
Yeah. Well, that's it. How do you feel? That's the one thing we wanted to ask. How do you feel?
How do you feel being the very last Bachelorette and you killed the fucking friend?
That, or I was that good. They were like, can't beat it. We can't beat it.
No, that's it. Where do you go from there, though? Like, where do you go? You can't go any further than what you guys.
Were.
Yeah, you can't.
And I would feel sorry for the person next as well. Like, you probably felt sorry for me coming on after you being like, fuck, wish you luck, babe. Because I messaged you, remember? I called you.
You did. We had a chat.
And I was like, Angie, help.
Yeah.
We did. I don't know if I helped you much. I do remember saying to you, make sure you ask for what you want and have days off, because I remember I didn't do any of that and I just let them do whatever they wanted, and I was like an anorexic, drinking, zombie baby, and I just didn't hold any space for myself. Did you get to do that?
Yeah.
I am probably like I find myself a little bit more strong-minded. Like, I don't do anything that I don't want to do, and that's basically why I said, like, if I'm going to do the Bachelorette, I'm going to have girls and guys, or just very diverse gender. But I never really got that. But so you know, I still stuck to that mentality of going through, and I was like, I'm exhausted, guys. I did, you know, at the end there, you're kind of just like plodding along, you're like just going with the flow because you're so exhausted emotionally and physically. And you know, there were times where I was just like, you know what, take over. But you know, I was pretty strong, like there, to the point of I got to choose everyone that I kept and left, and I stuck to it. Like, I stayed. Like, I know there was some sort of, you know, different plot lines that they had going on. I was like, no, not happening.
Oh, that's so
not
good.
happening. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's so good you went in there like that, because they
can be strong and manipulative.
Oh, you would know because you've done it too.
Yeah.
So you know what they are capable of in terms of where they want the storyline to go and what they wanted you to be and what they wanted her to be and da-da-da-da. So for you to go in and to do that, that must have been a game changer.
Yeah, I think, well, that's what I mean. And I think they hated me at the same time because I knew how it all worked.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, no, that's not happening again. We're not doing that. We're not repeating that.
Yeah. Did you find in the first time that you tried to control a bit and they just wouldn't let you, and so you kind of thought, I'm going to have more? Or did you get to control a little bit of the first time what you wanted?
I think parts. I think half and half. Like, I think I was so green to the first season. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go with the flow. I don't know what's going on. Like, this is all a lot. And, you know, like this little girl from Carnarvon being on this massive franchise. Like, I was like, what the hell is this? So half. I didn't do anything. Like, I wanted to leave when I left. And, you know, that was a big moment for the franchise. Like, the first person. Oh, no, maybe not the first person, because I think first person was Megan and she left.
Yeah, but
that's
you
right.
were really down far. So there was a really big change in that, like that someone hadn't gotten that far and then decided. How was Nick really about that?
I think we're all very emotional. I think it was a very emotional, like, they play it as it happened from our date, but there was an overnight, like, I slept on it and I was like, nope, tomorrow I'm leaving, like, I'm going home. And, you know, there was talks of, like, you know, talking me out of it and what, you know, why do I want to go? And I couldn't say at the time, I don't know if you guys know, but he had told me on the day that he wasn't going to choose anyone in, like, a very cryptic way. And then I kind of put two and two together and I was like, well, I'm one of those three. So if you're not going to choose anyone,
I'm out.
Like,
waste my time.
Exactly. And that's what I thought. I was like, I want to be home with my family. Like, I've basically sacrificed my whole, you know, stopped my
Yes.
whole life.
Everyone
and then
had.
you turn around and tell me that you're not going to pick anyone.
Oh, it's so offensive. And did you kind of explain that to the producers, or you had to keep that in?
I protected him for so long. And then I got to a point where I was like, why?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You know, we've all moved on from our lives. You know,
Yeah.
it's all sort of, you know, in the past. And I'm so super happy for Nick. He's engaged or he's having
Yeah,
a baby.
wow.
So it's all happening for him and his life. So
Yeah.
stoked for him. But at the same time, in that moment, I was like, I want to be home. You're not going to choose anyone. And it was just all very emotional. I think he felt really bad. I think he did at that time. Maybe not so much now.
Yeah, I feel like he would have, but the fact that he said it to you and not the others kind of does speak volumes in some degree, doesn't
Or
it?
did he say it to the others? Do you
I
know?
don't think he did he?
Then I felt really guilty because obviously I was in the rose ceremony with them and I could have, you know, told them that he
Yeah.
wasn't going to pick them, but I didn't. And I wish I did because I was like, that's leaving your friends out to dry. But these girls weren't actually my friends. I'm friends with them now.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Have you had it
At
out
that
with them
time.
about it?
No, like, you know, beautiful Sophie's now married and happy in her life. And Britt and I, we've just reconnected through the world of podcasting and et cetera. So, but, you know, we didn't get along in the mansion. So the
Is that
three
right?
girls.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Britt, Soph and Cass, it was like 3 of them and then me.
Really?
So I was like the biggest loner.
Why though? What happened there?
I think because from the start I was always
Front
a
runner.
threat
Yeah.
and a front runner.
Yeah.
But I wasn't anything but myself.
Yeah.
And you know, they were just really close and it was just unnatural for them to include me, I think, in that sense. They were
That
just
must have
all
felt
really
hard.
close and then there was me and I was an outcast. Like I was like
that would have been awful.
Did that also make you want to leave a little bit?
100%. There were so many times where I was like leaning into production, being like, "Be my friend."
Yeah. Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, that
No,
sounds,
That's
that
it's
sounds
such an
awful.
isolating.
Yeah.
It
you know,
is
such an
and
isolating experience.
That's what I didn't want this time for other people as well. I was like,
Yeah.
you better pick good people because I don't want any bullying. I don't want anything happening. Because the first night of the Bachelor, not the Bachelorette, I got the girls together. We did a little kumbaya in the lounge room. I think you were in the same mansion. Like they had the same.
Yes, we did have the same mansion.
We had the same mansion for Bachelorette. No,
Oh no, wait.
the guys were in the same house as what we were as the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Bachelor.
my boys were in your that's so weird.
Yeah. So the outside
There's cum
little
stains all over the wall.
Probably. Far out.
Well, remember I was in the house too, so Nah, kidding. So yeah, they were in the same house, and so you know, the first night I was like, we're all human, let's get together. We did a little sing song, and then I went around my classic youth work job. I was like, let's introduce ourselves. Let's just spend 5 minutes like getting to know one another, and actually it was like a really good bonding experience for all of us to realize that we all come from different walks of life. We're all there for the same reason, but we're also just normal people.
Yeah,
And
humans.
it kind of like was a bit real, and
Yeah.
it was the most real moment, and all of us were involved. And then that kind of like just changed throughout the season. Like everyone sort of turned on one another.
Oh,
Yeah,
because it's a competition.
it is. Yeah,
And
and I'm
the-
competitive as fuck, but I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not fighting girls
Yeah.
over man.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, Angie knows my feelings on The Bachelor. A lot of people do from when watching us on Gogglebox. I was very vocal about that whole franchise. Like, I would call it Mormons Are Us because it's
Literally.
like just a man with a lot of wives.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
and it was lovely that it got flipped because Sam Frost was our first Bachelorette, and that was wonderful to see. But it didn't change it. It was like, well, you're just making her as bad as them. Like, it's just
Yeah.
still the weirdest concept to me.
It's not
Like,
normal.
Don't
No.
get
Not
me
normal,
wrong.
no.
I love the show. Watch it all the time because I was so removed from it until I saw someone that I knew on it, and then it got really real.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is more bizarre to me now than ever. And then it became a very personal thing for Angie that I couldn't be honest about how much it was awful to watch her going through this situation that was so weird. Like
Yeah.
all these
Right?
people competing for one person.
Yeah.
And you are isolated and then pushed and pulled and, made to wear certain things and talk certain ways and
look like a dolly.
very, very weird concept. I have a question for you too, actually.
Oh, God.
You've both didn't work out with your chosen beaux,
yeah.
chosen number ones.
Numero unos.
In all honesty, do you regret the choice now?
No, I don't regret the choice. I feel like you're just so in it, right?
Yeah.
And you think that is your person and you're so wrapped up in it. I just wish that I had different coloured instead of rose-coloured glasses. Like I feel like I wish I had my people around me to support me through
That's
it.
why they
and be-
isolate you, isn't it?
Yep.
and to be realist with me, because I picked someone who I probably wouldn't actually ever approach ever. I know.
Yeah.
And that might, people come at me with a little bit of a stab. Come at me. I don't give a fuck.
No, this is your story. It's not
yeah.
their story.
I am a First Nations woman who grew up in country and then was disconnected, bouncing from home to home. Like I've got a lot of complex trauma and a lot of, I guess, issues.
Yeah.
And I'm very, and I'm also queer. So I needed someone who understood me as a person, and you don't get to, explore that in
there
6 to 9 weeks or whatever it is. And I needed someone who is a little bit more of a deeper thinker and a bit more emotionally mature and has kind of their shit together. And I found you can only get to a certain level. It's quite surface level, and you're just kind
do
of
you mean
thinking
in there.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the Bachelorette, and I don't regret my decision. I think. I just wish we had more time.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my short answer.
Yeah.
And
when
in all
you-
honesty, like I partly wish that I had more options for girls.
Yeah.
Because I would have, I think the men that I chose were more like too masculine for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I like a soft femme guy, like someone who's a bit more emotionally
Yes.
mature and a bit more intuitive.
Yeah. When you got out,
Yeah.
how quick did you start to really realise, this is a different person?
Oh, I think it was the 5 weeks of living with one another that I really very quickly unpacked it.
Was that in hiding or no? That's after. So you've been announced now, and you can be out and living together, right?
Yeah.
So that's when
Yeah.
you really got to know each other.
Pretty much. And not a lot of people know this. My sister died post
Yeah.
production. Like
Yeah.
literally the day that I'm saying goodbye to David after our 2 or 3 day rendezvous, my sister's dead and I haven't been notified.
Oh,
my
God.
God, I didn't know
Right.
that.
Yeah. And that's the reality of my world. Is that, I'm this bachelorette, I'm this really glamorous person, you would know. They kind of, put you on this massive pedestal. And you're like, no, like my sister's got schizophrenia
Oh
or
my
had
God.
schizophrenia. She's got a past history with drug and alcohol substance use. And here she is, passed away, and I'm saying goodbye and jumping in the car to be sent to an Airbnb. And that's a real reality of my life, and I write about that in my book, and we speak about it on the podcast and stuff. Because I'm not what people all think.
No.
I'm much more than that, and I think that was a real struggle dealing with grief.
Yeah.
I think
so
all I
traumatic.
wanted to do was be by myself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I literally had this stranger in my house.
Oh, God. That would have been so
Because I didn't know him.
No.
We're starting to get to know one another. We did long distance, and I did love him. Oh my God, hand on heart, loved him purely. Like I have so much love in my heart. But at the same time, I was grieving and I was really struggling with myself and what had just happened. I felt guilty that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was trying to deal with this new relationship. I wanted to be on country with my family. So much was going on.
So much.
So much.
God,
Yeah.
that is
can't
so traumatic.
even imagine doing that show, coming off and then losing your sibling.
Literally.
Is it so next level. I don't think people realize the aftermath of living in almost like a cult environment, being stripped from everything that you know and having to really fall in love. Matters of the Heart is so hard. You did that and then you got out. You don't really know this person unless it's in this fantasy world, and then you've lost your sister.
Yeah.
And you have to still be Brooke, the First Nation, queer Bachelorette. In a pandemic as well, by the way.
Right?
Like that is a lot.
And act really friggin' happy about
All
everything
the time,
and how exciting and
doing publicity
Yeah.
was the death of me. Like, probably not to use the reference, but it killed me figuratively.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
talking about how happy you are and you found the one, and in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm organising my sister's funeral in a 2-week quarantine. You know, picking fucking flowers and caskets. Like, people don't realise that.
They would have had no idea.
Yeah. And just relying on my family and then still progressing through this relationship that I've just now, you know, jumped into. It was really hard.
That would have been an extremely hard thing to go through. To make any relationship work. Like your heart would have been so preoccupied and, you know, not completely open for falling head over heels with someone. You're trying to heal most of your heart while trying to love, you know, in a brand new relationship.
It's not a
you're going to make me cry.
great.
No, it was really hard. And to put on a classic Brooke, I put on a really good brave face.
Yeah.
And went through and did all my publicity, being really happy, giving the people what they want, that perfect love story.
Yes.
And then I got to a point when I had this moment in the house with them and realised, I was like, what the hell am I doing? This is not me. This is not how I want to live my life. I need to go home. Yeah. I need to be with my family. I need to look after my sister's baby that she's left. He's 2 years old. And I need to be real with myself and my emotions. And right now I need to be by myself. And I tried to communicate with that, you know, with them, and they just thought that I was pushing them away. Yeah. And I may have. I'm a big self-sabotager.
Yeah, you may have.
Sabotager?
Yeah. Saboteur.
And, you know, I can literally swear on my dog's life, Cobras, that my intentions were so pure in finding love and finding.
Of course they were, yeah.
But right then and there, it was wrong timing. It
was a wrong, and you weren't to know that was going to happen. To you.
No.
And your right person will hold space for if something like life happens where you lose somebody that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
Your right person will hold that kind of space for you. And after a massive situation like the Bachelorette, he probably wasn't himself either. I don't know the person. I can't speak about him at all. And I'm sure maybe you did push each other away, because what a situation to be in post-show, and to lose a family member. Where do you go from there? You can try to do it together. Yeah. Or it doesn't work, and that's just the way it is. And people are always going to be cross because they dedicate so much of their 8 weeks to you, which is fair enough. But at the end of the day, you're a human, and that's what's happened.
Yeah. It was the comments like being like, oh, it was inevitable. Oh, we all knew it was going to happen. Oh, surprise, surprise. And I'm like, well, it's a surprise for me because I wanted it to work, but it's just a matter of circumstance. Like you can't change what happened, and I can't like change my feelings and how I felt.
No, exactly.
And then being thrown into like, you know, the media shambles. It's just like a double whammy. Yeah.
It's so much.
Well, thank you for sharing that with
Yeah,
us. I'm so sorry to hear about your sister.
I'm really open about it because I feel like
I can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
Oh my
How
God,
exciting.
That's giving me PTSD.
Yeah. Oh, well, Angie's written a book as well, and it's just something I could never do. I always say no to that kind of idea because it's just so opening, and you have to go back into so many pockets of your life that is so traumatizing that it's like therapy all over again.
It's like scratching at old wounds.
Yes,
told. I literally use the title of Angie's book all the time. If you don't love, you fucking cry.
I didn't come up with that. I like to pretend I did.
Yeah, but I use it all the time.
Yeah,
It's
we do
so
too.
true.
We use it every day.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry. I think that is, you have to cry. You have to laugh sometimes because, fuck,
Yeah.
Shit is so heavy.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. And you got to feel it to heal it. And sometimes the best way to feel it is to laugh through it.
Yeah.
Or
well,
cry
it
until
helps.
you laugh. Or laugh
Yeah.
until you cry.
and then pee yourself.
And laugh
Yeah.
until you fart a little or you shit a little.
Shit yourself.
Shit yourself.
Even.
That's what my
Two
TikTok.
girls, one pot.
That's
Exactly.
right.
If you know,
That's
you know.
right. Now, Angie, can you please answer the same question?
Sure. I mean, mine was so long ago now, so I don't think anybody really cares. But I don't regret picking my person because, once again, like I thought I was so in love as well. And I'd never been in love before. And that feeling I got was just so magical, but it was so culty and like as if all those people really love you and as if you're always going to look like that and always going to be like that. And then obviously I had my own traumas and things as well, and he was completely different to what I thought he was. So no, I think we maybe brought the worst out in each other, but towards the end, but we, got off the show and it was pandemic and I just had all these health issues that I didn't know about. And I was just like, oh my God, like I'm going to be a mess for a bit. So hang in there, homie. And ultimately,
Did you regret it ever?
It was really different for me. For my top two, they told me I was the only person ever who didn't know who they were going to pick at the end. They said, well, we'll have camera on you and you can make up your mind as soon as you get down and stand on your pretty little setup, because I didn't know who I was going to pick. I did not know who I was going to pick. I was sick. I was dry reaching. I was like, Halsey, Halsey. I was like, pick for me. And she was like, you know who you want to pick. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're such a typical Aquarian.
I can't even, I
She
can never
really can't
make a decision ever. Like I will say someone just pick for me, which is really gross. And I've had therapy about it. I don't know why I'm like it. I'm a shit decision maker.
But you did have to choose.
And I
didn't
had
you?
to choose. And I said, bring Tim
Why
down.
not both?
Yeah.
I was like, what that? Brigado de Stos?
The anti honey badger.
I was like, yeah. I was like, can I pick both? I was like, send Tim down first and then I'll know. Tim came down and I just thought, no, we're best friends. We're best friends, you and I. And I hope we're best friends forever. And then I thought, Culin will be my forever person. But I was saying to Yvie earlier, I look back and I wish I didn't take the show so seriously. I wish I picked the person that I had the most fun with in the show and who made me the happiest, not the person who I thought was going to be my forever.
Right.
If I went back and did that, then yeah, I probably would have picked Tim.
Okay, so there's little regrets.
Little ones, but not now that I know him.
But in hindsight,
in
she's
hindsight,
talking hindsight,
more, yeah.
what
Hindsight.
she's learned, which is true. And
Yeah.
I'm only like 7 months out of the breakup, which is not a lot of time. But
Yeah, that's very fresh.
Yeah, that's so fresh.
I realised very quickly. Don't worry. I love the putte.
Yeah.
Hair flick, no hair flick. Yeah.
Good on
You're
you.
like, you tried, but
And he even said, he's like, he called me a lesbian. He was like, I think I think you should stick to dating girls.
right.
But did he call you a lesbian in like a way that was not nice?
Not
Like,
nice,
You're
yeah.
a lesbian.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
wow.
offended because you didn't
Because
want
I didn't
what
want
he
him.
was
Yeah.
putting down.
Well,
or
his
putting up.
ego would have been bruised.
Yeah,
to some
completely.
degree.
Completely. There's
Which is
very
fair.
few men that can really be
With a
open
yeah.
and emotionally available and all of the things that you need to be with a queer person. There's not a lot of straight. Is he straight?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, there's very, very few men,
Yeah.
straight men that can be like.
And I learned that I stay away from a particular person. I can kind of read through the bullshit very quickly, and my family can as well. My brother,
Yeah.
my brother spent a lot of time bodybuilding and around a lot of egotistic men.
Oh yeah.
And so when we jumped on our FaceTime chat, when they meet the family later, I was in a quarantine. My brother said, just be careful, because I think I'm getting like that bodybuilding men ego. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't just when I've washed over me, whatever. And ego for me is not attractive. It's the ick.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
very much so get the ick very quickly. But I was just so wrapped up in it, guys.
Yeah, you do. You get
So wrapped up in it.
And you think
Yeah.
of your future Brooke or future Angie, and you shouldn't. You should just think about who makes you happy in that moment. But you know what? Hindsight's a bitch. So
Well,
moving
yeah,
on.
and I guess you both did in that moment. You did.
Undo
You
my
did.
pants
She's a
again.
sassy bitch.
So-
we hate her.
You're like,
Your
I
last-
hate thinking about that.
Your first episode of your podcast,
Yes.
you said you're not dating.
Is that a lie?
Is that a lie?
No, so
Have you had a big weekend or
I've had a big
anything?
weekend actually. Yeah.
Yes, tell us about last week.
Tell us
Obviously,
about the
it was a
weekend.
huge week last week for you. It was amazing. And you had the NAIDOC ball, and that's a huge week for Indigenous people. Tell us about that, and then tell us about the dating.
Yeah, so last week it was NAIDOC week and we launched the podcast, so Not So PG with Maddie and B, and I was on the women's health cover. It was
looked
yes,
amazing.
beautiful.
very busy, booked and busy.
Very
Look,
proud.
busy gal.
So yeah, big week, and then I guess wrapping the big week up with the NAIDOC Victorian NAIDOC ball. So the weekend before we launched, I went to the national one. Had no luck. And then I went to the Victorian one.
Yes.
And yeah, I had a busy weekend.
She's not talking about work, just in case you didn't pick up on that.
Literally. I did go on a date on Friday night with someone else, and then it escalated to the next morning, and then I went to the ball, and then that also escalated to the next morning. So she's busy.
She is busy. We love this.
Congratulations. Yep, this
Thank
is
you.
wonderful.
Wait,
We
is
love
this the
this
same
for you.
person?
No, different.
No.
And I was saying to Brooke earlier before we were recording, because I'm looking at moving to Melbourne. I've got my place in Tambourine Mountain, but I'm staying with Yvie and I'm going to do backwards and forwards.
Yep.
And I was like, where are the queer people? Like, where do we go? What's happening? And you said your place. But other than your place.
So we just need your address. And we will be
Get the
sending.
in though.
I didn't. I was like, so there's heaps of queer people there? Oh, wow.
Yes, top level.
So then there's just you with a rose, and I'm like, oh, Brooke, I didn't get this. And I'm like, oh, I would have made more of an effort.
Oh, I would love to see this happen. I mean, not literally, but I would love to see this happen.
You gotta shoot your shot.
You do.
You know what? You
do.
miss every shot you don't take. So she's throwing it out there. All right. Well, other than your place, which I'm very interested in, where else are we going to go?
You're hearing it here first, people. I've got goosebumps all over my body. Like, it's happening to me.
The flirt is real.
It's so like if you were all in this room right now, I am feeling a little bit.
She's getting
She's got
hot.
Betty flutters.
I'm getting like hot and then cold. I'm
Yeah.
undoing my pants
Yeah.
and then I'm redoing them because my stomach's going like in and then I'm like, it could be all the food we
Jumping
smell.
the gun, maybe. She's jumping the
look,
gun.
no, this is her. This is her all the way.
This is so good.
Be here for
Queer
it.
bars.
Yeah, the queer bars. Have you been to
Or
any?
just like, where is the queer? What's the queer suburb?
Because you're not a Melbourne girl. You're a WA girl, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm fairly
So,
new.
yeah.
So I have been asking my gay friends the whole time as well. So to be honest, I actually have like a few, good friends that come over and at mine. Obviously, that's what I was saying. Like, we have a few like house parties just to have a bit of fun and let our hair down. But I still don't know. So I haven't even been to Poof Doof, which is, I must be a bad gay, but like everyone's like, go to Poof Doof, go to
Everyone
Poof
loves
Doof.
Poof Doof.
You were saying Poof Doof. They've got Poof Doof in Brisbane too, but I don't think it might have the same vibe
I
as
don't
Poof
think so.
Doof.
I don't think it's
here.
I think it's not a lot of lesbians. I think it's a lot more gay
Right.
guys or
Yeah.
whoever. But
to me, that's ravey. I don't want to rave. I'm
No,
freaking
you want a
old.
bar.
I don't
you want
wanna-
like a
little
ladies'
dungy
bar.
whiskey
Like,
bar.
Yes.
Or
Electric vibes.
Oh yes, the kind that when you turn the lights on, you look at the carpet, and you're like, oh,
You're like, what's this?
What am I
What's this?
doing in here? Oh, I love that shit.
So we'll figure it out together.
Yeah,
I think we'll have to because
that's a plan.
So because I was thinking like in Newtown, Inner West to me
Yes.
is like queer in Sydney.
Yes.
So what's the equivalent of that here?
I think north is
north.
the more vibes, right?
Like Brunswick.
yeah.
Brunswick's
Okay.
kind of going off at the moment. Thornbury as well I think has got a lot of lesbians. I could be wrong, but where I live on the south side, much more gay men.
Yeah, I've noticed
So-
that on my
Are you
little
north or
walks.
south?
I'm south.
South. Oh,
Yeah.
we're both south. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we've got to go north.
I've got a lot of gay guys that live around
Yeah.
the corner from me
Yeah.
that walk their dogs, but
Me
not,
too. Me
not
too.
seeing a lot of lesbians
No,
or gay
or
guys.
not even. Yeah, I'm wondering where's my non-binaries?
Yeah.
Where's my?
Well, we're putting it out there now. This episode comes out pretty soon, so
Yeah.
slip into
slip and
slide
slide.
into our DMs and let us know if you're queer in Melbourne. where do these girls go?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then maybe after's at mine.
Yeah, after parties.
Start
South Yarra.
Start a new bar at your house.
What are we going to call it?
Oh,
Without giving my street name away. But,
no.
Yeah.
We'll just call it yours, mine's, and ours.
There we go.
Top floor special.
Sounds so scrummy.
Oh wow, I love that.
When's the book come out?
5th of October.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a few months away.
So we've still got a bit of time because we're in July now.
Are
So
you loving making a podcast with your bestie?
It's so fun. I think
Because we know what that's like. It's
exactly.
fun.
It's
Yeah,
so fun.
It should feel sort of like cathartic because you probably unpack some things that you haven't unpacked for a while, or it's a safe place to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted originally. Was that we started the potty and we talked about it for a while, just somewhere where we could. For people to get to know us, because Maddie and I both work in the media, and you would know the Bachelorette kind of makes you to be this very curated, filtered kind of version of yourself, and you're like, I'm actually so messy. I'm a fucking chaotic person.
Yeah.
I've got toxic traits up my
bring
ass.
them on.
Yeah. That's what I said to Angie. We listened to the first episode, and I was like, I love that I'm finding out all of this stuff about her. Like, and did I not say to you, this is what is great about podcasts, is so different to anything TV shows or radio. Podcasts give you the ability to just be yourself every time.
You don't have to look
get
a certain way.
and-
You can just talk about what you want to talk about. It's not an interview. You're going to love it. You're going to love it sick. Well, that's so exciting. So she's dating again. She's got her podcast. She's got her book, and this is Brooke, and she's on our podcast, and we're so freaking stoked to have her, and we're going to have her back to find out the next bit of gossip.
Yeah.
But until then, thanks
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on,
much
girl.
for
It's so
coming
nice to
on.
meet you in person. We've had a couple of little chats and DMs, but it's so nice to finally see you in person.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're like really around the corner from us. So
Yeah.
I'm really
Come
excited
over.
to get to know you.
And we'll bring the dogs, and you've got your dog, and we'll have a
Oh my
dancing
God,
dog
yes.
party.
We
Oh
love-
my God, I love you.
That sounds so good.
Love you. No, thanks for having me.
Thanks, girl.
That was an amazing
I
guest to have.
I loved that chat. We weren't sure because we always loved Brooke, but you don't know what people are going to be like until
In
you
real
meet
life.
them.
Exactly.
And she's better in person.
Much better. Oh
She's
my
got a
God.
calming nature about her.
Her pod's going to do really well.
Yeah, we're excited. We're
Yeah.
so stoked to have her as part of the Nova fam. We can't wait to read her book, and we can't wait to see what other adventures she gets up to.
Yeah, so thank you for being on here, Brooke Blurton. She's gone now.
She's
gone. You can listen to our podcast again on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We drop new eps. Woo, woo. What are you like?
What are you like?
Please rate and review us.
Yeah.
If you want, 5 stars only. If you want to ask us anything, ask us to do shit for you, we'll do.
Send us some challenges. Send us some Melbourne challenges.
If you've got anything to tell us about Melbourne, please do.
Oh, and don't forget to tell me all the good queer places to go. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Bye.